This is Alaska. The largest, wildest, emptiest corner of America. And for most of its history, the one nobody wanted. Russia sold it off cheap. The rest of the country laughed at the price and called it a frozen mistake. But people had lived here for thousands of years before any of that. Through winters that would kill almost anyone else. And then the outsiders came for the land, the language, the memory of who was here first. It nearly worked. Then the ground gave up gold, and everything changed. They came in the thousands, tore into the wild, took what they could. And the wild took some of them right back, and never gave them up. That's the part the postcards leave out. Behind the cruise ships and the glaciers on a calendar, there is another Alaska. Older, stranger, and far less tamed than anyone is meant to see. Stay with me, and I'll show you the real one. So who really lives out here? Barely 740,000 people in the whole state. Most of them on land the rest of America gave up on long ago. Some of these towns have no road at all. You get there by small plane, or you don't get there. And in the far north, the sun goes down in winter and stays gone for weeks. It is not an easy life, and the people here have never pretended it was. The cold can sink far below zero. When something breaks, no one is coming to fix it for you. You learn to do it yourself, or you do without. Plenty of them still make their living out on the water, on fishing boats in some of the roughest, coldest seas in the world. The kind that was passed down from a father to a son. So why stay? Ask them, and you'll hear the same thing every time. Out here, a regular family can still own a piece of the world that's truly their own, and pass it on to their children. Most were born on this ground, and most mean to be buried in it. Land their families have held longer than this country has even had a name. And once you see the land they've held on to, you'll understand why they could never let it go. As the largest national forest in the US, Tongass is known for its vast expanse of temperate rainforest that contains some of the oldest trees in the region. The name Tongass comes from the Tlingit people, specifically the Tongass group, who lived in the region long before outside explorers arrived. Established in the early 20th century, the forest became a focal point for logging debates, leading to protections for significant portions of its old-growth ecosystems. Unique features include fjords, glacial systems, and pockets of bioluminescent fungi observed in damp understory areas. Interestingly, the dense canopy helps absorb massive amounts of carbon, playing a key role in climate regulation. Part of an archipelago shaped by volcanic activity, Baranof Island features natural hot springs fueled by geothermal forces. It was named after Alexander Baranof, a Russian colonial figure. Historical remnants of Russian settlements remain, including some structures built using techniques not commonly found elsewhere in the region. Hot springs can be found across the island, some easily accessible, others deep in remote areas. Unfortunately, storms here can be sudden and violent, with winds capable of toppling trees. The island's steep mountains and deep valleys create weather patterns that shift quickly, sometimes trapping boats in unexpected conditions. Silver Bay is a deep fjord known for its silvery waters, reflecting light in a way that makes it stand out from surrounding areas. It has been an important site for fishing and industry. At certain times of the year, herring and salmon fill the waters, drawing predators. Notorious for hazardous navigation, it has seen shipwrecks due to its narrow passages and shifting tides. Some of this wreckage is still visible at low tide. The steep cliffs surrounding the bay amplify sounds, making distant noises that carry much farther than expected. Tongass supports one of the highest densities of brown bears, which are also some of the largest ones in the world. They are drawn to salmon streams and are often seen fishing with their massive paws. When salmon are scarce, these bears would then forage for shellfish in tidal zones instead. Interestingly, researchers have documented individuals using rocks as tools to scrape barnacles off intertidal rocks. Some have even learned to open containers left by humans, leading to strict food storage rules in the forest. Their sense of smell is so powerful, they can detect food from miles away, even buried underground. Mendenhall Glacier stretches from the Juneau icefield and is a popular site for researchers and visitors. This glacier, part of a larger icefield, has retreated significantly in recent decades. Early 20th century photographs contrast sharply with their current size, illustrating rapid change. Large chunks of ice still frequently break off, creating loud crashes that echo across the valley. These collapses, known as calving events, send waves through the lake below, with some icebergs floating for weeks before melting. It is one of the most studied glaciers due to its accessibility and visible retreat over time. The ice caves beneath the glacier form as meltwater carves tunnels through the ice. The walls glow with a blue hue, a result of compressed ice absorbing all colours except blue. A waterfall fed by a hanging glacier, Nugget Falls plunges near Mendenhall Glacier's face. The force of the water is strong enough to move boulders. In warmer months, the flow increases dramatically, which creates mist clouds. Its thunderous flow intensifies during summer melt, drawing visitors. Birds and small mammals take advantage of the moisture, making the area more active than it appears at first glance. Mendenhall Lake is located at the base of Mendenhall Glacier, with a temperature that remains near freezing year-round. Fed by the glacial melt, it expands annually as the glacier recedes. Icebergs frequently break off from the glacier's terminus, floating across the lake's surface. Mount Edgecumbe is a dormant stratovolcano with a symmetrical peak. Its last eruption occurred over 4,000 years ago. However, in 1974, a helicopter pilot dropped burning tyres into its crater, simulating an eruption and sparking temporary panic. The stunt fooled many before authorities confirmed it was not a real eruption. Sitka is a scenic coastal community with deep connections to indigenous culture and Russian colonial history. Historically, the area became the centre of conflict between Russian traders and the Tlingit people. A pivotal clash in the early 19th century led to Russian control, with remnants of this era visible in surviving structures like a Russian Orthodox cathedral. Later, it played a key role in the transfer of land from Russian rule, marking a significant change in governance and trade in the region. Frequently spotted in Sitka's waters, sea otters are notable for their dense fur, which insulates them in cold seas. They exhibit unique behaviours, such as floating on their backs while using rocks to crack open shellfish. As playful and social animals, they form groups called rafts that can number in the hundreds. researchers documented their critical role in maintaining kelp forests by controlling sea urchin populations. Unalaska Island is the largest island in the Aleutians, home to the historic town of Unalaska and Dutch Harbour. Known for its rugged terrain and maritime crossroads history, the town's name derives from a Unangan word that means near the peninsula. The island was a focal point for indigenous Unangan peoples who developed sophisticated sea hunting techniques. It later became a key stop for Russian explorers and traders, with fur companies eventually establishing outposts there. The island also played a major role in World War II, serving as a strategic military outpost. Airstrikes and battles occurred nearby, making it one of the few places in the region directly impacted by wartime attacks. A deep natural harbour, Unalaska Bay has long served as a shelter for ships navigating storm-prone waters and a hub for the local fishing industry. Submerged volcanic formations create turbulent currents, contributing to historic shipwrecks. The bay's shores host a mix of Russian-era relics and World War II-era concrete structures reclaimed by grasses. It is also known for its sudden weather shifts, with dense fog rolling in unexpectedly, causing navigational hazards. Shishnikov River is a remote river located on Unalaska Island, with indigenous communities historically relying on its fish for survival. This river is a critical salmon spawning ground, attracting predators such as brown bears and eagles. Flash floods occasionally alter the river's course, reshaping sections of the surrounding landscape. A cascade fed by glacial runoff, Anderson Bay waterfall plunges directly into a saltwater inlet. It has been a reference point for sailors and explorers, with its flow varying depending on seasonal snowmelt and rainfall. During storms, high winds can cause the water to spray horizontally. The force of the waterfall has carved out unusual rock formations over time. Birds frequently nest in the cliffs nearby, using the spray as protection from predators. During salmon runs, predators congregate at its base to hunt fish. Once a seasonal Unangan fishing camp, Portage Bay serves as a passageway between different parts of the island. Although its waters are calmer compared to surrounding areas, it still has a history of strong tidal currents. Today, it is often visited for its glacier views and kayaking opportunities. Humpback, grey, and orca whales frequent Unalaska's waters, often seen migrating or feeding. Their vocalizations, recorded by researchers, vary regionally, suggesting distinct dialects. Humpback whales are known for their acrobatics, breaching out of the water and slapping their fins on the surface. Orcas travel in pods and hunt in coordinated groups, preying on fish and seals. Grey whales scrape the ocean floor for food, using their baleen to filter out small creatures. In the past, whaling operations targeted these animals, significantly reducing their numbers. Conservation efforts have since helped populations recover, though climate change and shifting ocean conditions continue to impact their food sources and migration patterns. Known for its expansive ice fields and periodic outburst floods, Knik Glacier feeds into a long river system. It moves slowly over time, shaping the landscape as it carves through rock and sediment. The glacier's name originates from a Denali term describing the area's fire river, likely referencing volcanic activity or glacial silt discolouring nearby waters. Large chunks of ice break off the glacier and crash into the water, creating waves that ripple across the surface. Some icebergs remain floating for long periods, slowly melting as they drift. Known for its role as an ice-free port and oil transportation hub, Valdez is a coastal town with access to the Prince William Sound. It was originally a small outpost, but gold rush activity brought prospectors, turning it into an entry point for those travelling inland. An earthquake and resulting tsunami destroyed large parts of Valdez in the past, forcing the town to relocate to safer ground. The event left behind remnants of the old settlement, some of which can still be found. Oil transport later became a major part of the economy, with tankers moving through the waters regularly. Unfortunately, the area also gained notoriety for a catastrophic oil spill in the late 20th century, which caused lasting ecological impacts. Located near Valdez is a steep-walled gorge carved by glacial meltwater named Keystone Canyon, featuring waterfalls like Horsetail and Bridal Veil. These waterfalls change in strength seasonally, and heavy rains can even trigger rock slides, making parts of the canyon unstable. Its narrow pass became a battleground during early 20th century railroad disputes, with rival companies dynamiting each other's construction sites. One of the most accessible glaciers via road, Worthington Glacier exhibits vivid blue ice layers formed by centuries of compaction. Cracks form and close as the ice shifts, which makes travel across it unpredictable. Crevasses sometimes appear suddenly as well, making some sections too dangerous to cross without proper equipment. Eklutna Lake is a glacial-fed body of water that serves as a major source of drinking water and hydroelectric power. It was once much larger, but shifting glaciers and human intervention have altered its size. A hydroelectric dam was built in the mid-20th century to control the water supply, permanently changing the lake's natural flow. Known for its volcanic terrain, Katmai National Park and Preserve was named after Mount Katmai, a volcano whose 1912 eruption reshaped the region. Established to protect the volcanic area, the park later became a refuge for wildlife, especially its high concentration of grizzly bears. Katmai's grizzlies are among the largest due to their protein-rich salmon diet. The bears rely on the salmon runs for food, gaining weight before the long winter months. Their thick fur helps them withstand the cold, and they store fat to survive hibernation. Some bears return to the same fishing spots year after year, learning the best techniques to catch fish. They use tactical dives to snatch fish from deeper pools, though they would also use their claws, which are adapted for digging, to grip slippery rocks. At Brooks Falls, dominant bears claim prime fishing spots, while younger ones wait downstream. Brooks Falls is one of the most well-known landmarks in Katmai, drawing bears and visitors alike. The fall's geology creates a natural bottleneck, concentrating fish and attracting bears. Wildlife cameras placed near the falls have captured dramatic moments, including battles over fishing rights and unexpected interactions between bears and other animals. Kenai Fjords National Park is known for its glaciers, rugged coastline, and marine wildlife. The name comes from the Kenai Peninsula, named after the indigenous Denali people, and the fjords, which were carved by glaciers moving through the landscape over time. Established to protect these icy landscapes, the park's terrain includes rugged cliffs, tidewater glaciers, and offshore islands. Indigenous peoples historically harvested marine resources here, with archaeological sites revealing fish-drying camps and stone tools. Glacial winds drop temperatures, even in warmer months, and thick fog can roll in without warning. Harding Icefield is one of the largest ice masses in the region, feeding dozens of glaciers. Crevasses and icefalls dominate the surface, with subglacial volcanoes occasionally melting ice from below, creating hidden meltwater channels. Explorers and scientists have attempted to cross the icefield, but the journey is difficult due to unpredictable weather and treacherous terrain. One of the park's most accessible glaciers, Exit Glacier, has retreated visibly in recent decades, exposing rocky moraines. As the glacier shrinks, new land is exposed, with plants gradually taking root in the freshly uncovered soil. Seward is a charming port town known for serving as a gateway to Kenai Fjords National Park and its connections to fishing, trade, and transportation. The town became an important port due to its deep harbour, which allows ships to dock safely even during harsh weather. It has endured natural disasters, with one powerful earthquake causing massive damage, destroying docks and shifting land. Its original town site was destroyed by this disaster, prompting relocation to higher ground. A sheltered inlet flanked by steep mountains, Seward Bay's calm waters contrast with its history of destructive tsunamis. The bay's tidal zones host seasonal herring runs, attracting various marine life like whales and sea lions. In the 1970s, residents organised a Whale Day festival after a grey whale lingered unusually close to the bay, though the event was discontinued due to safety concerns. During winter, ice flows create temporary bridges between shoreline rocks. Kenai Lake is a long, glacial-fed body of water in south-central Alaska, known for its winding shape and cold turquoise waters. Its colour changes with the seasons, influenced by glacial silt and runoff. At times, strong winds sweep across the surface, creating sudden waves that have overturned small boats. The water remains cold year-round, making survival difficult for anyone who falls in. Flowing from Kenai Lake, the Kenai River is famed for its salmon runs. Native American communities have fished its waters for generations, developing methods to catch and preserve salmon for survival. Russian settlers later established fish camps, competing with indigenous harvests. Other than salmons, the cold water supports a range of other fish species, with some areas remaining difficult to navigate due to hidden sandbars and fast-moving rapids. The city of Kenai developed near the mouth of the river, growing from an indigenous village into a centre for trade and fishing. One of the oldest continuously inhabited areas in the region, the city has endured natural disasters, including earthquakes and storms that have reshaped its coastline. Parts of the town still reflect its early history, with Russian-influenced architecture standing alongside modern developments. Known for its rapidly changing glaciers and marine ecosystems, Glacier Bay's name reflects its ice-dominated landscape. The bay was carved by glacial retreat over centuries. With indigenous Tlingit oral histories describing ancestral villages displaced by advancing ice. Some areas that were once solid ice are now open water, while others still hold massive walls of ice that stretch for miles. In fact, some icebergs float for long distances before melting, drifting through the bay, and sometimes stranding wildlife on their surfaces. At the northernmost reach of Glacier Bay, Tar Inlet is flanked by towering ice walls. Some of the largest calving events in the region have occurred here, with entire sections of ice collapsing into the sea. The inlet is also known for its strong currents, which move icebergs unpredictably. Its deep waterway extends into the park, leaving behind steep rock faces and unstable ground as it leads to Marjorie Glacier. Marjorie Glacier is known for its stability compared to neighbouring ice masses. Its vivid blue crevasses result from dense compressed ice. However, wildlife often gather near the glacier, taking advantage of the nutrient-rich waters. Early pilots used the glacier's height as a navigation marker, sometimes mistaking its sheer face for a cloud bank. One of the few advancing glaciers in the region, Johns Hopkins Glacier, terminates in a steep, fractured face. While many glaciers are shrinking, this one continues to grow, pushing ice further into the bay. The ice at its base is packed with sediment, giving parts of it a darker appearance than the surrounding glaciers. Access is restricted seasonally to protect harbour seal pupping areas, as it is home to a surprisingly large seal population. The historic town of Ketchikan was developed around fishing, logging and trade, with salmon canneries driving early economic growth. The natives of the region have lived there for regions, with totem poles and traditional structures remaining as iconic landmarks. Early settlers built wooden boardwalks and buildings over the water to adapt to the rocky, uneven terrain. Therefore, its waterfront district was once a row of elevated boardwalks housing businesses, including Prohibition-era speakeasies, accessible only by boat. Potlatch Totem Park showcases totem poles, clan houses, and artifacts that preserve indigenous traditions. The totems are carved by Tlingit and Haida artists with figures representing animals, spirits, and historical events. Some designs are recreations of poles that once stood in abandoned villages, while others are originals made using traditional techniques. Raising a totem is a significant process, often involving a community gathering, with the poles at the park having been carefully placed to reflect their original cultural meaning. Known for its extreme tidal shifts and dangerous silt mudflats, Turnagain Arm is a dramatic waterway that was named after an 18th century explorer who abandoned the inlet after deeming it unnavigable. The phenomenon creates a wave known as a bore tide, a rare event where a wall of water moves in a single, rolling surge. The bore tide can reach surprising speeds, travelling against the current and pulling anything in its path. Meanwhile, the mudflats along the shore appear solid, but are notorious for trapping people and animals, as the fine silt, mixed with water, creates a quicksand-like effect. Hatcher Pass is a scenic mountain pass north of Anchorage, known for its hiking, berry picking, and alpine views. The pass cuts through a mountain range, offering routes once used by miners hauling ore. Mining camps had filled the area in the past, with workers enduring long winters in search of gold. Some mines were profitable, while others collapsed, either from financial struggles or physical disasters. Remnants of mining operations, including rusted machinery and collapsed tunnels, still scatter the landscape today. Due to its steep and rugged terrain, the pass has also suffered from landslides, altering sections of the road, forcing reconstruction efforts over time. Summit Lake sits at a high elevation along the Seward Highway, fed by snowmelt and underground springs. The water remains cold year-round, with ice sometimes forming unexpectedly, even during warmer months. The lake reflects the shifting weather, with fog rolling across its surface without warning. Funnily, early miners dubbed it Blue Ice Lake due to its frost-resistant algae blooms. Independence Mine State Historical Park is a former gold mining site in Hatcher Pass, featuring preserved buildings and trails through the old mine ruins. Once one of the largest mining operations in the region, the mine's name reflects its short-lived independence from larger corporate operations. Known for its Gold Rush-era history and mountainous backdrop, Skagway boomed as a gateway for prospectors heading to goldfields, with stampeders hauling supplies over steep passes. Its wooden boardwalks and false front buildings replicate late 19th century architecture. Indigenous Tlingit traders initially resisted settler incursions, culminating in a brief armed standoff near the town site. White Pass was one of the main routes prospectors used to reach the goldfields, a historic mountain pass on the border of Alaska and Canada. The trail was brutal, with steep inclines, dangerous weather, and deep snow. Horses and pack animals often perished on the route, earning it the nickname Dead Horse Trail. Reed Falls cascades down a rocky cliff near Skagway's Gold Rush Cemetery. Its mist sustains moss-covered boulders. The waterfall is named after a prospector who was one of the early figures in Skagway's development. Defined by its deep fjord-like channels and proximity to massive glaciers, Taku Inlet is a remote waterway surrounded by nutrient-rich waters. The name comes from the Tlingit Taku people, an indigenous group that lived along its shores and used the area for fishing and trade. Sudden storms funnel through the narrow waterway, creating strong winds that make navigation difficult. Taku Glacier is one of the largest tidewater glaciers in the world, located near Juneau, and still advancing. Its face towers over the inlet, carving icebergs that drift into shipping lanes. The glacier's surface is a maze of crevasses and icefalls, constantly shifting as pressure forces movement from deep within. Homer is a charming coastal town characterised by halibut fishing, its art scene, and stunning views from the Homer Spit. The name comes from a gold prospector who arrived in the area hoping to strike it rich, and though his mining efforts failed, his name remained. The town's location along Kachemak Bay made it an ideal place for fishing and trade. In fact, it provided a steady supply of fish, while the surrounding landscape offered game and materials for survival. When commercial fishing developed, Homer became a hub for halibut and salmon, drawing both locals and visitors looking to test their skills in deep waters. Shute Bay State Marine Park is known for its glaciers, tidal changes, and rugged coastline. Indigenous Aleutian peoples historically harvested shellfish and seabirds here, with petroglyphs near tide pools hinting at ceremonial sites. The park's steep cliffs and pebble beaches were shaped by glacial retreat, creating sheltered coves. The tides also play a major role in shaping the shoreline, exposing rocky beaches at low tide and submerging them as the water rises. Common in Shute Bay's waters, harbour seals haul onto icebergs or rocky outcrops to rest. These animals are well adapted to the cold waters, with thick layers of blubber keeping them warm. Their bodies are built for speed and agility in the water, allowing them to evade predators like orcas that occasionally enter the bay. They also proceed to dive deep to hunt fish, using whiskers to detect prey movements in murky water. During pupping season, the bay becomes a nursery, with young seals born on isolated ice floes and staying near the shoreline for safety. They rely on their mothers for warmth and food until they are strong enough to swim and catch fish on their own. Denali National Park and Preserve is known for its vast wilderness, extreme weather, and towering mountain ranges. Its name comes from the Koyukon Athabascan word meaning the high one, referring to North America's highest peak that dominates the landscape. The park was established to protect its ecosystems, spanning low-elevation taiga to alpine tundra. Indigenous peoples relied on the area's caribou and plant resources, with oral histories describing the mountain as a sacred landmark. Wildlife thrives in the park, despite the harsh conditions as animals migrate, hunt and adapt to the changing seasons. Denali is the tallest mountain in North America, towering over the park with its snow-covered peaks. The mountain creates its own weather patterns, with fierce winds and sudden storms. Early explorers underestimated the mountain's challenges, as some expeditions set out with minimal gear, expecting an easier climb. Of course, this resulted in many failing, as they ended up turning back or perishing in the attempt. Today, climbers train for months to prepare for the harsh conditions, yet the mountain still claims lives each year. Moose are some of the most dominant animals in the park, moving through rivers, forests, and open tundra. They thrive in willow thickets and wetlands, consuming up to 70 pounds of foliage daily. Their long legs aid in traversing deep snow, while antlers are used in dominance displays before being shed annually. Calves are born in the spring and remain close to their mothers for protection. Predators, including wolves and bears, target young moose, leading to intense chases across the tundra. Fortunately, a mother moose will defend her calf aggressively, using her powerful legs to drive off attackers. The quirky small town of Talkeetna serves as the gateway to Denali, with climbers, researchers, and travellers passing through on their way to the park. It was once a supply hub for miners searching for fortune, and traces of that era remain in old structures and abandoned equipment. The town's historic district also features log cabins from early mountaineering expeditions, some repurposed as quirky shops. Over the years, the town has become known for unusual events, such as when they had a cat named Stubbs holding the unofficial title of mayor for years. Tracy Arm Fjords is a remote fjord system known for its towering cliffs and drifting icebergs. The fjord's icy waters and narrow passages were carved by glacial erosion, creating a corridor flanked by cascading waterfalls. Dawes Glacier marks the head of Tracy Arm, a massive tidewater river of ice that slowly pushes forward, carving the fjord as it moves. Its face, riddled with crevasses, appears blue due to light refraction in densely compacted ice. Subglacial streams carve tunnels that occasionally collapse, sending shockwaves through the fjord. Famous for its agricultural roots and annual state fair, the small town of Palmer became a focal point during a Depression-era resettlement program, relocating families to farm the Matanuska Valley. Its annual state fair traces back to a 1930s livestock exhibition, expanding to include the iconic giant vegetable competitions still done today. Fertile soil and long summer daylight hours produce oversized crops, including cabbages exceeding 100 pounds, showcased at the fair. The region holds records for some of the biggest cabbages, carrots, and other produce. Recognised by its fast-flowing waters and role in hydroelectric power generation, Eklutna tail race channels outflow from a dam into a river below. The construction of the hydroelectric project changed the natural course of the river, altering its original path. Some areas that once held flowing water are now dry, while the tail race provides a steady release from the dam. The channel's controlled flow also creates a year-round fishing spot, attracting anglers pursuing salmon and trout. Kodiak Island is the second largest island in the United States, renowned for its massive brown bears. The island has been shaped by volcanic activity, earthquakes, and extreme weather, with sections of the coastline changing over time due to landslides and erosion. Kodiak bears are among the largest bears in the world, with thick fur, powerful limbs, and an impressive presence. They thrive on the island due to the abundance of food, particularly salmon runs that provide a steady source of nutrition. These bears follow the fish through rivers and streams, using their strength and precision to catch them mid-swim. Males can exceed 1,500 pounds, their size fueled by protein-rich diets. Abundant on Kodiak, bald eagles nest in towering cottonwoods, reusing nests for decades. They scavenge bear-killed salmon, often competing with ravens as their eyesight detects fish underwater from hundreds of feet high. Their powerful talons grip slippery prey, carrying fish away before other predators can interfere. During salmon runs, eagles congregate in groups called convocations near riverbanks. As Alaska's largest city, Anchorage is home to urban wilderness and aviation infrastructure. Established as a tent city during railroad construction, it grew into a regional hub rapidly due to its location and access to key resources. Railroads were built to move goods inland, and military installations expanded during wartime. One of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded struck this city, causing the ground to split open and entire sections of land to collapse. Some neighbourhoods were never rebuilt, although the quake has since changed how buildings were constructed, leading to new safety measures to withstand future tremors. The city straddles boreal forests and coastal mudflats, with urban moose and occasional bears roaming around. Combining mountain ranges and ice fields, Wrangell-St. Elias National Park and Preserve is the largest national park in the US. The park's name honours the Wrangell and St. Elias Mountains, shaped by volcanic and tectonic forces. Its creation aimed to protect ecological and historical resources, spanning climates from boreal forest to alpine tundra. A relic of early 20th century copper mining, Kennecott Mine's National Historic Landmark features an abandoned mining settlement with well-preserved buildings. The operation extracted high-grade ore using aerial trams to transport rock to processing facilities. The mines shut down when the copper supply ran out, and now all that is left is a ghost town with abandoned machinery and rail cars. Hubbard Glacier is the largest tidewater glacier in North America. Its blue ice towers are undercut by tidal erosion. This advancing tidewater glacier meets the sea, carving icebergs into Disenchantment Bay. The glacier's surge in the 1980s temporarily blocked a fjord, forming a lake that later burst. Girdwood is a mountain town that offers various winter sports and beautiful hiking trails. The town began as a mining camp before shifting to tourism post-World War II. A mid-20th century earthquake destroyed its original location, forcing relocation uphill. Today, it centres around Alyeska Resort, a hub for skiing and outdoor activities. As a major destination for skiing and snowboarding, the resort sits in a valley surrounded by towering peaks, offering some of the steepest and most challenging runs in the region. Heavy snowfall and varied terrain attract both beginners and expert skiers, with conditions that change throughout the season. Early skiers had to rely on makeshift lifts and limited facilities, but over time the resort expanded, adding chairlifts, lodges, and access to outback terrain. However, backcountry enthusiasts still use split boards and climbing skins to access untouched powder. Accessible only by air or sea, Juneau serves as Alaska's capital city, renowned for its status as an administrative centre, mountainous setting, and isolation from the rest of the road system. The city emerged during a late 19th century gold rush, with mines tunnelling deep into surrounding peaks. As the gold rush grew, larger operations took over, blasting tunnels into mountains and extracting tons of ore. Some of these tunnels remain today, long abandoned but still marking the impact of mining. Located in Prince William Sound, Columbia Glacier is one of Alaska's largest and fastest retreating tidewater glaciers. Known for its rapid retreat and iceberg production, it has been shifting for centuries, with indigenous oral histories describing the glacier as a moving mountain. However, the retreat has accelerated in recent decades, exposing new land and revealing valleys and rock formations that have been buried under ice for thousands of years. Some studies suggest that the speed of retreat is linked to the depth of the fjord beneath it, allowing warmer seawater to accelerate the melting from below. Embracing a year-round Christmas theme, the small town of North Pole adopted its name to attract a toy manufacturer, though the venture failed. Founded in the 1950s, its famous postmark, North Pole, Alaska, draws global holiday mail. While no major toy factories arrived, the town became famous for its holiday decorations, themed street names, antler stables, and most notably, the Santa Claus house. Santa Claus House started as a small store, but grew into a well-known landmark, with letters arriving from around the world addressed to Santa. During the holiday season, the town receives thousands of messages from children who believe they are writing directly to the North Pole. Volunteers and postal workers help respond to many of these letters, keeping the tradition alive. Caribou, wild relatives of reindeer, traverse tundra and boreal forests near the town of North Pole. They migrate in herds, using spongy hooves to traverse snow as they communicate with grunts and snorts, staying together to avoid being separated by weather or predators. In winter, caribou rely on lichen, a slow-growing plant that can survive in frozen conditions. Their strong sense of smell helps them locate food buried beneath layers of snow. During warmer months, they shift to eating grasses, shrubs and leaves, building up energy reserves for the harsh winter ahead. When threatened, caribou rely on speed and endurance to escape, running for long distances without tiring. Fairbanks is Alaska's second largest city, most renowned for its unique sport of dog mushing and gold mining legacy. Its location under the auroral oval makes it a prime northern lights viewing site. Mining shaped the city's early years, though it later became a military and transportation hub. Its location made it a strategic outpost during wartime, leading to the construction of airfields and defence structures. Cold weather testing for equipment and vehicles has been conducted here due to the extreme winter conditions. The city's isolation required innovative ways to move goods and people, leading to the development of railroads, ice roads, and later, modern highways. Dog mushing has long been a way of life in Fairbanks, originally used for transportation before roads and modern vehicles arrived. Teams of sled dogs carried mail, supplies, and passengers across vast distances, with mushers depending on their dogs for survival. These dogs were bred for endurance, as their thick fur, strong legs, and high energy levels allowed them to travel long distances through snow and ice. The tradition continues today in the form of sled dog races, with it becoming the official state sport. Events like the Iditarod and Yukon Quest test the endurance of both mushers and their teams, using ancient routes once used by indigenous messengers. Abandoned near Fairbanks is a preserved gold mining dredge, which once was used to scoop river gravel to extract gold. Dredges operated continuously, leaving behind piles of tailings that still mark the landscape today. Today, visitors pan for flakes in its tailings, while workers nicknamed it the Monster for its noise and scale. The Tanana Valley Railroad is one of Alaska's oldest narrow-gauge railroads, built to connect Fairbanks with remote mining camps. The narrow-gauge railway was small compared to other rail systems, but it played a key role in keeping the gold industry running. Some sections of the original railroad have been preserved, with old locomotives and rail cars still on display. Its restored steam engine now offers tourist rides, passing rusted equipment, half buried in permafrost. The Chena River runs through Fairbanks, hosting paddle wheel tours and winter ice sculptures. Before roads and bridges were built, the river served as a highway for traders, miners and native communities. Boats carried cargo and passengers along its waters, connecting Fairbanks to more remote settlements. This is Alaska, a land of hidden wonders and remarkable architectural marvels, but there is still so much of our world left to see. Watch our next documentary and discover another place you may never have known existed.